I've got Brian Solis here. Brian, tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, and your blog.
All right. Well, I am Brian Solis. I blog at PR 2.0 and also Bubblicious. PR 2.0 covers basically the convergence of traditional media and new media and how we could all learn from this convergence in order to be more effective. I don't want to say communicators, but just in order to be more effective in telling your story and why it matters to people. And at Bubblicious, I cover what I call the social economy, basically all of the amazing people that are defining the new web. I like to use that blog as an opportunity to sort of document it.
Okay. On my blog, I talk about what I call marketing 2.0. So tell us a few of the characteristics of PR 2.0.
Well, it has everything to do with shifting, and it's probably the same for marketing 2.0, is shifting everything from a broadcast mentality to an individual mentality, right? It's almost like demographics and psychographics, right? Instead of grouping things and hitting them as a group, you're looking at people as points of interest and beliefs and opinions and preferences, and you're starting to put together information in ways that are going to matter to them really specifically, and also not just the tools that we use to reach them, but also taking into consideration them as individuals as well, and then reverse engineering what it is that they use to get their information and to share their information. So I would say from that, marketing 2.0 and PR 2.0 are probably one and the same.
Right. You just did a panel, bloggers and PR, and we talked about press releases in there. They're changing. So sending press releases to editors now even relevant?
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. Except, I mean, I'd like to say that that's the case, but the truth is that there's still plenty of people who can use press releases, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the real truth is that there's still plenty of reporters and bloggers out there who cut and paste to get that story told. So press releases are still being used, are still valuable, but I think what we're learning is that the press release as a means for getting information shared is not effective anymore. It is a support tool that you use after that relationship and dialogue has started.
So where do bloggers fit into the PR hemisphere, if you will?
Bloggers are part of the media ecosystem, right? Whether they're classically trained journalists or not, they have a voice and they have the form of influence. So they are part of just the identification process when you are trying to figure out, number one, who you're trying to reach, two, where they go for information, and three, how do they prefer to work with you in terms of getting information shared within their communities. So they're part of this, they're equally part of the entire process. Something I talked a little bit about on the panel as well was looking in terms of public relations outside of blogger relations and thinking about tastemakers as well, people who are new media influencers. For example, Scoble has 30,000 people on Twitter, and if he posts on Scobleizer, it might send traffic. If he puts something on Twitter, it might send a lot more traffic. But then there's people that don't have blogs, who have tons of followers on Facebook and MySpace, and any social network has their own tastemakers. And there are tastemakers for every industry. And these are people that are passionate about something that they represent and highly regarded within their community. They should also be part of the process as well.
Mm-hmm. What advice do you have for the classic just business that isn't really into Web 2.0, PR 2.0? How can they step forward and start taking some steps to change what they're doing, and where are their future successes within PR?
Well, I don't know that any company is going to say that they need to do this. If they don't already know that, or it's going to take a champion within the organization to help sort of point out the fact that we might need to shift things internally. I mean, there are some top-down initiatives that we're seeing. A lot of big companies are saying we need to be part of the whole social process, and they're experimenting with it. They're shifting marketing dollars to experiment with it, and they're doing it truly, genuinely, and it's something that we could all learn from in the sense that they're not even measuring it or documenting the ROI yet. They're just merely experimenting. So those guys kind of get it, and they're learning in real time as to the value of what they're doing. Now, the other companies that aren't, this is all about competing for the future, right? Things change. They always will. This is just a moment in time. And it's not, we have the whole semantic web coming around the corner, and that's going to change things again. the idea is that you have to either have a champion or you don't. And if you don't have someone who's going to help you bring this in to the organization and demonstrate how it can be valuable to you, it might be too late at some point. You know, your competition might figure it out before you do.
Right.
And I would highly stress to any company that whether they think it's BS or not is there's a moment when it's going to shift from being proactive to being reactive. And when you shift into the reactive mode, you're now in crisis communication standpoint, because that means that everybody else is already ahead of the curve and you're having to catch up.
Right.
And catching up isn't an overnight process. You're building and cultivating a community. And that's marketing to us, PR to us. That's just you know, CRM, customer service. I mean, it's just relationship building and management. And it's easier to do now than it's going to be later.
That's wonderful. Give us your URLs.
It's briansolis.com, BRIANSOLIS, and the other one, I'll try to spell it for you, but it's bub.blicio.us, Bubblicious.
All right. Thank you very much.